One of the ways that has really helped me conceptualize and visualize all of the things that go into the development of type 1 diabetes has been feedback loops. At its core, the human body is an amazing system of checks and balances, a web of highly proficient systems that, in and of themselves, are impressive, but actually work better in synergy with all of the other existing systems. And when you view disease through the lens of a breakdown in these systems, you have to view them in the context of the webs, the interconnected systems. I've written about the feedback loops. I've made some videos about the feedback loops. Today, I just felt like drawing. And so I've created this little web of feedback loops. Now, this is by no means exhaustive, but it gives some good context for a lot of the systems that go into diabetes development. You've got detox pathways in the liver, viral immunity, cell membrane integrity, thymus education and integration, gut lining integrity, gut microbiome balance, nutrient absorption, and liver mineral stores. Now, every one of these things has a direct impact on the health of beta cells. And there is an area of research related to the development of diabetes that focuses on each of these loops. But what the research tends to overlook a lot of the time is the relationship between these loops. And it's important to realize that a deficit in any one of these feedback loops is going to play into an imbalance in another, and into another, and another, and another. None of these feedback loops is independent of the other. So let's say, for example, that we've taken on a virus and we have enacted viral immunity in the body. Just think about all of the different systems impacted by not just the virus itself, but our body's reaction to the virus. Because of the viral infection and its impact on individual cell health, our liver is having to work harder to detox some of those issues. So much of a virus's success in a host relies on its ability to replicate. And viral replication relies heavily on disrupting cell membrane integrity so that the viruses that are replicating within a cell can break free into the rest of the host so that it can continue its replication cycles. As part of our learned immunity from that infected virus, now our thymus has to educate itself and the white blood cells it's responsible for on how to handle future infections from this virus. So you can see how this one break in the chain can have far-reaching impacts on all of those other seemingly distant feedback loops. So now you have an entire system engaged in attempting to bring stability back to an initial break in the system. And when you think of it from a system support standpoint, it's incredibly effective because if one system starts to break down, it has a library of fellow systems that have the ability to positively impact bringing stability back to that point of breakdown. But also consider the strain that each of those other feedback loops takes on in an effort to bring stability to the other. And consider what happens in chronic conditions where there is a long-standing drain on the system, or there are multiple points of impact, multiple drains on the system. Let's say, for example, you have a virus enacting all of these viral immunity feedback loops, while simultaneously you are eating nutrient-poor food. And this nutrient-poor food is impacting your liver's mineral stores. And it's impacting the health of the bacteria in your microbiome. And from here, you can see where this goes. There is no system that is not impacted by a deficit in any of these other systems. And you can see how the wave from one impacted system can affect all. And when you think about this from a symptom presentation standpoint, you may be seeing something in the gut lining that may have its origins in liver detoxification pathway blockages. Your thymus may not be properly educating white blood cells because of a break in cell membrane integrity in your beta cells. And healing something like this can feel like a daunting task. Because at the end of the day, anyone with type 1 diabetes only ever wants to know, okay, well, what's the root? What can I treat that will help everything above it fall into place? And I want to remind you that the thing that makes this so dizzying and feel so daunting is also the same thing that makes it so accessible. Because by the same principle that viral immunity is a drain on your liver detox pathways and your nutrient absorption, improving your gut microbiome balance is also going to have an impact on your cell membrane integrity. An improvement in your cell membrane integrity is going to help your liver and its detox pathways. And so, in the same way that a strain on one loop is going to impact all other loops, an improvement in any one of those loops is also going to take the strain off and lead to improvement in all of the other loops. And that's been one of the most difficult points to get across to people who are genuinely interested in addressing all of the things they're experiencing in type 1 diabetes. Because they're looking at all of these different loops, all of these different variables in singularity. Oh, one doctor told me if my gut microbiome is better, so is the rest of my diabetes. Oh, if I have this one nutrient, then my diabetes goes away. But that's not how it works. Focusing on any one of these variables is going to improve your condition, alleviate symptoms, and give you the space and time to take inventory and realize what all of the other variables are in need of. And when you address those newfound variables that you need to address, you find yourself retracing the steps to each of the new impacted systems. And everything you learn and implement in improving whatever step you're on, the strain on the system as a whole decreases. And once you've retraced enough steps, all of the feedback loops start to self-regulate again. That is when disease becomes ease. And while you still may be interested in, okay, what was the root cause or what is the root cause of diabetes? This system really allows for any one of these things to be the lead domino in taking down all of the rest. So my diabetes may have started from a lack of nutrition that led to poor gut microbiome, which led to an altered thymus and immune reaction, which made me susceptible to viruses, which shot my liver. Whereas your diabetes may have started with a insult or injury to your detox pathways. This could be environmental, it could be nutritional based, but it shoots your mineral stores into the trash can. This impacts your cell membrane integrity, which impacts your thymus education and integration, which then leaves you susceptible to viruses, which then leads them to leach nutrients from you. Do you see what I mean? Every case of diabetes is probably going to involve one of these feedback loops to a certain degree. So we share that in common, but where the individual nature of managing the disease and peeling back those layers comes in how you've lived your life, the unique circumstances that served as the tripwires that threw these loops into a spiral. Share this with someone who needs to hear this. Think about how your personal health history lines up with these integrated feedback loops. Once you have that, you can start to peel back the layers and take meaningful action, knowing that taking care of any one of these feedback loops is going to help all others. So you don't have to know exactly which one, you just have to get started. And the feedback loops will present themselves to be taken care of from there on out.